What is the communication process? Well, there are two primary views of the communication process. The first is the transactional model, and this explains communication as, well, a transaction with actions often happening at the same time, but there's this mutual exchange that goes back and forth the way a transaction would work. So the components of the transactional model are, first you have the source of the message, the creator, the person who's encoding these ideas that are later going to be delivered. Now they encode these ideas in a message. Okay, so the message is some bundle of information that's being somehow transmitted, and it's bundled in a way that has some tactic or technique or approach behind it, ultimately to achieve some purpose, whether that's just to transmit the information contained or to have an effect on the other side. Now the channel of communication, that is the means by which you transmit that message. It could be verbal, it could be written, it could be verbal electronic, while visual elements are present as well. It could be physical motion that doesn't involve written or verbal communication. So communication can take a lot of different forms there, and the channel by which it's delivered oftentimes corresponds to the nature in which the communication is being delivered and what type of communication it is. Okay, so the receiver or the recipient of the communication then decodes the message. That is, they translate that message into meaning. They interpret it, if you will. They put it through the cognitive wheels or the process of cognition to understand what is being transmitted. Now, based upon their perception of the message, how they decode it, they give the feedback to the sender. That is, the maker or sender of the message. They reply to them in some way. Sometimes it's just verbal motion, sometimes it's physical motion, sometimes it's a demonstration physically of some effect or reaction of the information received or the message has over them. Okay, then the other components are the environment, that is the physical location, how the communication takes place. The environment could be electronic, it could be person to person, and then the environment's an open space. It could be a very tight or closed room. So you look at the environment. Then you look at the context, that is the things or understanding surrounding the communication. Okay, for example, it could be that there's some hurry or some danger or some apprehension present. So whatever the common facts, information, or understanding about the scenario, that's the context in which the communication happens. And then you have interference. These are any parts of the environment, of the context, of the natural tendencies of the sender of the message or the receiver of the message, the communication channel, whatever it is that takes away from the transaction, that somehow dilutes it, that pulls away the attention, that pulls away the understanding, that pulls away the ability to comprehend exactly what is being communicated, how it is meant to be interpreted. So all of this can be interference, whether it's other people, whether it's noise, whether it's the environment, whether it's loud lights, whether it's the heat, whether it's the electronic environment. All of these, once again, constitute interference. So this is the transactional model and how it breaks down the elements of communication. The constructivist model sees communication more as this fluid interaction of individuals, and it focuses more on the interpretation or understanding or perception of the information that's flowing out there. It looks at it way less as being very procedural in nature, in transmission, decoding, that type of thing, and more just about the collected observation of information and how that affects us and how we react with regard to that. So the transactional model and the constructionist model are the two primary models demonstrating the process of communication.